Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, Fort Bliss is mourning the loss of a highly decorated soldier. The latest on the investigation into his death. Also,
I'm sure that anybody that is a parent would not want to go through what we have been going through.
A family is pleading for any information in the suspicious disappearance of their son.
And those winds you felt overnight are going to get even stronger today. The borderland is under a first alert. We have your complete storm track coverage coming up.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
Our Storm Track weather team is keeping tabs on these windy conditions, and we are under a first alert today.
This is a live look outside on this Thursday morning from on top of the Franklin Mountains. A nice shot there of the lights, but nothing moving around, at least from this viewpoint. But down on the ground, it feels a little different.
A very good morning to you, El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Good morning, everyone. Let's get right to Crystal Cly and talk about the wind, when it's going to pick up, and just how bad it's going to be.
Yeah. Crystal.
Right. So I do have some good and bad news. The bad news is we are under that first alert. The reason for that, it's the high wind speeds that we are expecting today for our Thursday. On your graphic here, we see, though, that it doesn't last quite as strong on your Friday, but we are a little cooler on your Good Friday. And how about Easter weekend? Will the winds pick up? All things that we'll be discussing coming up in the next hour. For now, I want to talk about your temperatures outside. We're now at 67 degrees in El Paso. Still breezy out there. Winds at 13 miles per hour. In Las Cruces, we're at 55 degrees, and our winds also out of the west at 13 miles per hour. So I said I had bad and good news. The bad news being that we are under that first alert, but the good news being the gusts aren't quite as strong as sometimes we see in April. We'll talk about how high they're going to go in just a few minutes.
All right, Crystal, thank you. And now we get to our round-the-clock coverage out of Las Cruces. Police there confirm a man was stabbed overnight on the 2000 block of Espina. This happened around 11 o'clock last night. No word of any arrests or what led to the stabbing. Police tell us new information will be released later this morning.
Meanwhile, developing right now, a standoff between police and gunmen continues at a university in Kenya. At least 2 people are already dead and 29 others were injured after gunmen began shooting at random. Officials say 4 of the 29 wounded in this morning's shooting are in critical condition. The gunmen have taken hostages too. The U.S. Embassy in Nairobi said the Somali-based Al-Shabaab militant group is claiming responsibility already.
The investigation continues today into the death of a Fort Bliss soldier. 27-year-old Captain Jonathan Winecoop was killed Tuesday during the Iron Focus military exercise. Fort Bliss officials tell us that he was asleep when an all-terrain vehicle designed to withstand landmines rolled over his cot. Earlier this week, ABC7 recorded video of the Iron Focus exercise. The goal is to train soldiers to fight untraditional enemies like guerrilla fighters and insurgents. The exercise seen here, though, had nothing to do with his death. Winecoop from Ohio was a highly decorated soldier. He leaves behind a wife and 3 children.
Police have yet to identify the 2 people found dead in what they're calling a murder-suicide. Yesterday afternoon, officers went to check up on people living at the home on 14,000 block of Sandy Rock on the far east side. That's when they say they found a man and a woman dead inside. On the scene, our crews saw several people related to the victims consoling each other. We'll continue to follow this and update you as soon as we get any information or an explanation.
More details coming out about the motorcycle crash that closed down part of the Spaghetti Bowl on Tuesday. Police identified the motorcyclist as 44-year-old Cesar Sotopayin. He was headed south on US 54 and getting onto I-10 West. Police say he lost control of his bike and hit a retaining wall. Sotopayin remains in critical condition at University Medical Center with a head injury. Las Cruces police say he choked his own mother in front of his young daughter, and now he's behind bars. 32-year-old Omar Barrio allegedly also threatened to choke the 9-year-old girl. Doña Ana County Sheriff's deputies say Barrio was drunk when he went to his mother's home in Chaparral Tuesday night. Barrio faces several charges, including battery and negligent child abuse. Child Protective Services is looking into the safety of the girl.
An East El Paso family is asking for your help this morning. Their son has been missing for nearly 2 weeks and they feel that something bad has happened to him. El Paso police say 21-year-old Jerry Castillo was last seen Saturday, March 21st near Pelicano on the far east side. Police say Jerry's disappearance is very suspicious. His father told us his son's cell phone was found underneath a bus bench on Pelicano. He says his son has a car and does not ride the bus. Jerry's family is now offering a $5,000 reward for any information that could help them find their son. If you know anything, you're asked to call El Paso Police at the number there on your screen, 832-4400. And happening now, at least 2 states are rushing to fix controversial religious freedom laws after a nationwide backlash. Indiana's State House Republicans are expected to announce a fix to legislation later today. Let's go to ABC's Valle now with the latest.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers in Indiana will meet this morning to debate a bill clarifying the state's new religious freedom law.
The Religious Freedom Restoration Act was about religious liberty, not about discrimination.
But opponents say that since the state doesn't have an anti-discrimination law protecting sexual orientation, under this new law, businesses would have been allowed to turn away gay and lesbian customers.
If a gay couple was to come in, like say they wanted us to provide them pizzas for a wedding, we would have to say no.
The comments led to protests outside the Indiana restaurant and an outcry on social media as critics slammed the pizza shop online.
If you're going to discriminate against somebody because of their sexual orientation, that's just not right.
Defenders of the restaurant started a GoFundMe page that has already raised more than $40,000 for the pizza shop owners. Hoping to avoid the same controversy in his state, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson has refused to sign a similar bill. He has asked for changes to the legislation, calling the issue divisive across generations, even in his own family.
My son Seth signed the petition asking me, Dad, the governor, to veto this bill.
And the CEO of Walmart, one of Arkansas's largest employers, is also speaking out, saying the Arkansas bill, as it is currently written, threatens to undermine the spirit of inclusion. Bazi Kanani, ABC News, New York.
At 6:07, taking a look at our traffic cameras, looking over at I-10 and Piedras, where we've typically seen some closures during the week. Everything is open. Traffic is flowing smoothly. No problems to report. Just be careful, of course, when you're getting out the door this morning.
A historic drought has California's governor taking some drastic actions this morning.
Dire water shortages are being called for after almost the entire state has seen abnormally dry conditions.
And for months now, the city was looking into bringing a water park to Cohen Stadium. What happened, though? We have a look now at why that deal fell through.
And those winds will be kicking up later today. Meteorologist Crystal Clay is standing by with a preview.
The windy weather not just going to be an issue today, but through much of your 7-day forecast. We'll talk about your first alert for our Thursday and those conditions into your weekend coming up.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.